What's up, man? It's your boy MoonDog38732 from the MoonDog38732 show on YouTube. Hey, man, watch the show, like the show, share the show, subscribe, and comment. Also, hit me up at the MoonDog38732show.com. Got my blog there, merchandise there, videos, interviews, stuff like that. With that being said, that's neither here nor there. We here talking about the MoonDog38732 show podcast. I'm currently the host, MoonDog38732, and I'm with
Tiffany DJ,
the co-host of the MoonDog38732 show podcast. This is our show. We've talked about some other things previously, but now we're leading up to this. On the last show, we talked about who should approach whom. With that being said, first dates. What does a first date look like? Cuz I told you I'm gonna say cousin folk, we're not gang affiliated. I'm wearing red, she wearing, that's different.
Right.
I got my hat on, it's just a hat, man.
Right.
Cause what does a first, in your eyes?
My experience.
First date. Give me a first date scenario.
First date scenario. Man, the worst. I hate first date scenarios. Situations. First date scenario. I got one.
Okay, let's run it down.
Alright, so I was dating this guy. And he was mad and with me. But his confidence level was terrible. He had no confidence in himself. And the date was nice. We went to dinner. We went to the movies. It was raining. He actually escorted me with the umbrella.
As he should.
Right. And we went to dinner at a nice setting, Mississippi. Brew Chris at the time was popping. We sat, ate. Nice dinner. He paid for the meal.
As he should have. If he asked her out.
Right. But he had the jitters around me. He couldn't be still. So his confidence was always fidgeting with something. He had to touch something. And it was do I make you nervous? And he was basically trying to hide and man up. No, you don't make me nervous. I'm so I don't really want to call you out on it. So basically, I can see it for myself that I'm really getting you out of your square. So I not dimming myself down, but tried to make the situation more common for him. So I consider him in, a touch.
She turned her light down. She was shining too bright for the situation.
Or an elbow rub.
You know what I'm saying?
Or even in the movies, I move in close. It was a confidence builder for him, I thought, to make him feel comfortable enough to carry out the date. Very uncomfortable.
Did y'all get a second date?
No.
Okay. All right, here we go. Because when I think about dates and things like that, I really don't like doing let's go to a movie on the first date, or let's do this. I have to ask that person which I think it makes a difference if I ask you what you like. Mm-hmm. What do you like doing? I know people that don't even watch TV.
Right.
Don't even really watch movies. So why should I take them out? I know people that like going to poetry jams. You know what I'm saying? Which I've gone to right about now. They got some good ones. Well, when it was popping. So I asked her about one. I'm like, damn, cuz you know what I'm saying? I asked her about one. I said, man, I got to get up on it.
Right.
And so I think that if you show interest in what that person likes, that makes that first date go a little smoother.
Right.
Because you taking a situation where they don't like. I know, because in Houston, they have concerts. Right. If I'm going to, I like Big Crit. If I go to a Big Crit concert and I ask you, did you want to go to a Big Crit concert? But you may not even like rap music.
Right. You don't even like the artist. You probably don't even know the artist.
Don't even know him.
That's terrible.
So now, the first date is kind of
Right.
But at the same time, if I really went on a first date with somebody, I wouldn't take them into a packed venue. Mm-hmm. I would make that first date about them and me,
right,
and our experience together.
right.
So I wouldn't take you to a concert. I probably wouldn't take you to a movie theater. I probably would take you somewhere where I can gauge how you like what's going on, because you told me you like poetry. Right. So if I'm at this poetry jam, are you know what I'm saying? Are you clicking your fingers? Are you clapping? Right. Are you know what I'm saying? Are you thinking about stuff to say if you ever get on stage?
But what if their interests are Big Crit? And
shit, we going to see Big Crit.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
What if their interests the new movie that's coming out on Friday?
We going to see the new movie that come out on Friday now.
Okay. So you're not opposed to those venues?
No.
Okay.
Because once again, I'm going to ask you what you like.
Okay.
But I'm expecting honesty if I ask that person what they like. Don't say what you think that I want to hear.
Okay.
So on that first date, you want to go out to eat? I ain't got no problem going out to eat. Where you want to go?
Right.
If you like, I don't really eat McDonald's. But if you like McDonald's, I ain't got no problem with taking you to McDonald's.
Oh, wow.
I'm probably not going to eat it, but I may ask you for some of your fries. You know what I'm saying? If you like going to, at the same time, where do you take them on a first date? Do you think that going to a restaurant where the meals start at $100, is that something feasible, or should you take them all expense $200, $600 first date?
It goes back to, like you said, what their interests are. Like if you messing with a high value woman.
I saw her post about the high value man. I'm gonna tell you about that later. But go ahead.
It's only right that you do high value things and take them to those expensive restaurants that they're accustomed to. But if they're not, don't try to show the rabbit new tricks.
Don't try to show out.
Right. Don't.
If you can't keep it up, don't do it.
Act your wage. That's all I'm saying. Act your wage. Don't try to impress and you're not on that level to impress.
Act your wage.
Act your wage.
WAGE. Not age, but wage.
Please do.
Don't be out there maxing out credit cards trying to do something where you can't sustain.
Because you're only setting yourself up for failure. Because the second date, you can't carry me to churches after you done took me to Raising Cane's.
Or if we out there at Papa Dough, because every time the thing about it is, when like people come here, they always ask me to take them to like my folks and stuff. They go to Papa Dough.
Actually, the new McDonald's to me.
Papa Dough is like, I give you a lot of food. It's like okay, but I can probably cook it at home.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
but
the new McDonald's.
At the same time, when we're on that first date, we gotta, being comfortable makes it go. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna ask you some things like, I might ask you some stuff about your family, about your folks. How your dad doing?
Right.
Your mom. You know what I'm saying? You may ask me something like, where you from? Like,
but that's the purpose of the first date. I think
it's a filler. Not filler, but filling out.
Right, filling out getting to know that person to see if they are a potential candidate to continue to date.
And the date of the next date also means something, because if I'm really into you,
right,
I'm not going to schedule a date 2 months from now.
Right.
I'm probably going to try to see what you do
the next day.
Right. If not the next weekend.
Right.
Especially with the field in which I'm in, I'm off in the summer.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, right. So if I'm like, hey man, I really like it. Matter of fact, when I drop you off, and then when I get home, I'm going to hit you up.
Right. If you're interested.
I'm like, hey man, you good? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I really did bam. Or I might even have it in and don't send it yet. I might wait till the next morning, even though I already had it prepared.
Right.
I might hit you with it that next morning, but that first date, once you're there, once you figure each other out, because sometimes you can tell if somebody moving falsely or they're not really about what they say or do, because somebody say, oh, I'm an engineer. But then you ask them what kind of engineer. You really work on cars. If you work on cars, just say you're a mechanic, man.
Right.
Just say you're a mechanic. Or if you say that, well, I'm an artist, and I ask you what kind of art do you do? Hey man, just say you draw stuff and put it on Instagram and like it's not a problem. You ain't got a lot to kick it.
You don't.
So on that first date, you don't have to blow my socks off.
I know.
Because if I see that you are a cool and a genuine person, I'd rather have that than somebody that's trying to go out of their way to be something that they're not.
Right. So I got a question.
Oh, here we go.
Who's responsible for the first date?
Remember we went back to approach? We talking about approach. When you approach that person, while you all are talking, you can ask that person, do they want to go out on a date? Because I think that when you approach that person at that time, that's not a date. That's just showing.
It's not a date.
That's
You're
not
right.
a date. So while we're talking, I'd be like, hey man, I think you cool. You know what I'm saying? You want to go out, tomorrow or the day after. Let me know what your schedule's looking like, and we can plan something. So from the time we figure out a date and time, I'm going to be sending you messages or calling you, which I'm more of a message because I be doing stuff at home all day. And I might send you a message like, hey man, what you like to do? You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make sure that we have a good time. And I'm letting you know by me asking you these questions that I'm trying to make sure that we are trying to have a good time.
Okay.
If only one of us have a good time, there ain't no date. That's a mate. That's a late. That's a cake. That's, you know what I'm saying?
And see, that's why I choose my words wisely. I don't go on dates. Like the first date wouldn't be the first date for me. It would be a meeting. Yeah.
An interview.
Basically, a meeting. Because for one, I'm driving my own car. We're meeting at the venue, and we actually having Q&A. Basically, you're asking me questions. We're actually vibing off. Not saying we uptight, but it's actually still Q&A. We feeling each other out. We're vibing. We're getting to know each other.
But
so
how serious are your questions though?
Dateable questions. They are.
What's the dateable? Tell audience. We're gonna ask you later. Like, what's the dateable question? What should be said on the first date? Cause give me an example. Give me an example of a dateable question.
Okay, my meeting questions are basically how many kids you have.
About how many different people.
Right. How many baby mamas you have. Where you live. Are you family oriented? Because I am.
Do you live by yourself?
Right. Are you married? Oh my God.
That'll help. That'll help.
Are you and your baby moms? What's y'all relationship like?
Who raised you?
Right. Who raised you? Are you close? Do you have friends? What's your job? I wouldn't ask you. Yeah, what's your career? That's a good one. What's your career? I wouldn't ask you your wage. I just Google it.
It'll pop up later.
I just Google it. Things of that nature. Not even a credit score at that moment. That's dating questions, but not meeting questions. So things of that nature. Like what you like. What's your favorite color?
What your interests are, who you be with. You know
what number to dial. No, I'm just saying. But things like that, you need to know because they give you that knowledge or that insight to think. Is he that cool for me to continue to get to know? Like, can I see myself actually dating this one person?
Also, when I think about stuff like that to be asked, and if somebody tells me something, I may not even know what they're talking about. But if I'm interested in that person, when I go home or even next day, I'm going to look that thing up. So I have an insight on what you're talking about. If you're some type of doctor or a nurse, and you're talking about you're this type of nurse or you're this type of doctor, and I have no idea what you're talking about,
we're just going to Google it.
I'm going to look it up.
Right.
So now I have an understanding of what you may even go through in a day.
Right.
Dealing with that particular career or that profession.
Exactly. Guilty.
See? Hey, in this day and time, we ain't got time to be freestyling. We gonna make sure we straight. if you ain't straight, it's your own fault. If you know the situation of the business is, you just sitting at home, not making sure you straight. Hey man, what you want me to do about that?
Right.
So, how does a first date end? Does it end with a kiss? Does it end with a hug? Does it end with a fist bump? Does it end with a man? I see you later, and not see them later? Do you ghost them?
Okay, it depends on how the meeting or the date went. In my experience, because there's been some meetings where I have ended with a kiss. There's been some meetings that I've been that side church hug. I'm like, yeah, thank you, I appreciate it. It's been that fist bump, like, or just a text. All right, I'm out. Like, so it depends on the meeting.
But I can actually go out with somebody, and like we can be cool though. You know what I'm saying? We can be cool. We can hang out. Not saying it's a date, but we can like hang out. We can be cool and not really have any romantic vibes or whatever. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, sometimes you hang out with people or hang out with somebody, the vibe may not be there then.
Right.
Once you get to know each other, and then sometimes that vibe may, you know what I'm saying, that feeling may grow. For those you ever seen Coming to America, they said that they wasn't in love with each other, our king's parents. But over time, they grew, you know what I'm saying, to love each other. But that's a different situation.
It is, very much.
Because anything you want to add to like a first date. Not date, going out, hanging out, those are different things. I think a date is more serious because of the intentions behind a date.
Right. Now you said it. That's good. That's good. Y'all be careful on those first dates.
Sometimes people get too hands-on.
Yeah.
That's why she said she go drive her own car. Because if you ride with somebody, and as soon as you get in the car, they touch you all on your knee and rub you all on your thigh, and you gotta
I'm mindful of my kids. I have children. And I don't want you to feel as if you can just pull up and you know where I live and not knowing too much about you. You might be a serial killer. You might be, mental ill, So I don't want those problems. So I'm going to meet you there until I can feel you out and understand who you are enough to show you.
In other words, she'll know if she meets you enough times, you on your meds or not. You know what I'm saying?
By the time we get on our second meeting, going into our first date.
It's a process. It's a process sometimes. It's a process.
Yeah. So be careful out there on those first dates.
I think that's all I got to add to it.
Yeah.
As if you.
That's it.
Hey, man, we'll holler at y'all cats later, man. Peace.
Peace.